Hello again, this is Mark Summers from Summers Technical Services. We're going to do a Solidworks tutorial today on a resistor plate assembly. So here's our resistor plates. It's an aluminum plate with some power resistors on it. And I've already done one side. I've got a hole pattern for the first resistor, and I patterned that hole pattern feature on my plate. Then I place the first resistor, and then I do a pattern-driven component pattern. Hard to say, not too hard to do, so that it replicates that hole pattern. So I'm going to do the other side here. And so I've located my first resistor where I want him. And now I need to drill two holes based on the location of those clearance holes in my power resistor. So I'm going to edit my part in the assembly here, top-down design techniques, and go to feature and add a hole. And when my dialog box pops up, I'll approve the type and go to position. I want to sketch on this face right here. And my first hole is going to be here, so I hover over that clearance hole and I get the little target in the middle. So I use that to locate the first hole. I hover over the circle here and then get that target there. So now my holes are located exactly where I want them. Now what I want to do now is pattern those holes based on where my resistors need to go, but I'd rather have these holes located not from this resistor, but from features inside the plate. So what I'm going to do is get out of that edit mode. I'm going to open up this plate in another window and take a look at those holes and change the sketch such that it's all based on the part and not the assembly features. So there's my new holes I just made. So I'm going to go inside the sketch, edit it, and I'm going to get rid of these constraints that are based on the resistor, so they're free floating now. And I want to put some dimensions on there, and they're not going to move because I'm going to just use the dimensions where they're sitting. So right now they're sitting exactly where they need to be, and these are the dimensions that they need to be located. And I'll do the other dimension in the other direction. And just type those in, or let those stay like they are. Now what I want to do is add a construction piece of sketch to represent the middle of the resistor. I'll make him for construction. And I'm going to locate him such that he's going to be in the middle of the resistor location. So I'll go here to here. Make that half of 719. And then make this dimension half of 781. So now that circle is in the middle of the hole pattern, and now I'm going to locate this circle, this construction circle, relative to the planes in the part, to locate them where they need to be with the resistors. So this will move slightly since I put those other dimensions in there. That should be 3. And this other dimension here needs to be to the right plane. Lost my dimension button. So there to my right plane needs to be 1 1/4. So now I've broken the link on these holes such that they don't tie back to the resistor anymore. So I'm going to get out of my sketch. Holes are located where they need to be. So I'll save that and go back to my assembly. So now you can see those holes are there, but they're located based on dimensions in the plate and no longer tied to the location of the resistor. So now I can go back and pattern those features. So I'm going to edit that part in place. I want to pattern these tapped holes using my linear pattern command. I want to pattern these holes just like I want my resistors patterned. So direction 1 is this way, direction 2 is this way. That direction is half of 3. 5 of them is the right number. The other direction is going to be half of 1 and half of 2 1/2. 3 of those. And I don't want these to populate all the way through, so I want to turn some of these features off by doing instances to skip. So I want to skip. Which ones do I want to skip? I want to skip this one here, this one here, and then alternating ones here, and then these guys right here. So now I just get my staggered pattern. I collected those right. I think I did. So now let's get out of the edit component mode. And now what I'm going to do is pattern this resistor such that they follow those holes, and that's this pattern driven component pattern. New feature here. So once I select that, I already got pre-selected the resistor. It's asking for driven fixture component, so I want to select this pattern I just made, which is going to be this pattern right here. And boom, it throws them all in where they need to go. Now if I ever change that pattern of those holes, those resistors will follow. So that's a good way to keep everything parametric and not have to type those numbers in and keep changing them in both places, the resistor pattern and the component pattern. So that concludes our SolidWorks tutorial for now. Stay tuned for additional SolidWorks, Inventor, Pro Engineer Creo, and Unigraphics tutorials here at Summers Technical Services.